At face value, it's easy to point out the bad guys in the current Russia-Ukrainian war. Putin does not want the Western influence on Ukraine and hence has launched an attack to demilitarize the nation. Governing bodies have come out against this and they continue to observe the advancements of Russia into the heart of Kiev. However, many African nations only mention they are deeply concerned and push for talks between the warring nations to quell the violence. This shows that they do not have a stance, making them neutral. Furthermore, there are African civilians supporting the advancement of Russia into Ukraine. As everyone has a right to their opinion, we look to the reasons for supporting Russia without bias. However, let's see why this is the case. There are two levels to this: the civilian and government levels of support. When we look at why African bodies would support Russia, it will be obvious that they are almost indebted to Russia. As Russia was recovering from the wars of the past, they sought to leave an impression on a bigger footprint on Earth. They could not influence North America or the rest of Europe, so Africa was the closest next place to influence. Hence, they set up summits with Africa as a whole and implemented businesses, trade, and most importantly, military aid in the form of exporting mercenaries to African countries that really needed the help. One country in particular was Central African Republic, who were getting tired of rebel forces disturbing its nation. Russia came in and the people really loved them to the point that there is a statue for the Russian soldiers in the country. This deliberate friendship orchestrated by Russia seems to have paid off today because the president of the Central African Republic apparently supports the Russian invasion, while the Sudanese official has visited Russia during the war to galvanize its ties between the two countries. Then there is a civilian view to supporting Russia. Many Africans, whether they like it or not, are still defined by colonization and therefore still keep a negative attitude towards their colonizers. Subsequently, when they are supporting Russia, they understand what the country is doing is morally wrong. However, they are supporting the idea that someone is standing up to the Western world, which operates on double standards. They view America's involvement in Libya, France's presence in West Africa, and dubious CIA operations in Africa as a breach of boundaries in an attempt to cripple Africa for life. In layman terms, the enemy of my enemy is my friend is the ideology behind the support for Russia for some of these Africans. Additionally, some even question the reason for NATO's current existence on Earth and consider Russia to be an equilibrium to NATO's apparent attempt at world domination. You can see why the notion of the world versus the West could be a valid narrative. America went into Libya and Syria in the name of peace for its people, while right now Russia is invading Ukraine because it's trying to protect itself. Does this not show that major powers will take unilateral action in protecting their nation's interests, irregardless of the geographic location? Anyways, let's discuss this below as everyone has a right to opinion. What do you think?